Hello everyone, so today we're going to be building a grade calculator which basically takes in all of your grades that you have so far and gives you an output of your current grade. So we're going to be doing this using Python, a Python script. So this is the plan. So you have your grades, you input in your grades via categories, so quizzes, projects, assignments, exams, etc. And the Python script essentially processes these inputs and gives you an output. And so it calculates the weighted averages and it gives you the overall grade. So let's say 88.2% or something like that. So that's our process and our plan, and let's get started. So first off, I'm going to open up our terminal and create a file via Vim. Vim is the code editing tool I'm going to be using. And I'm going to create a file called grade_calculator.py, and now we're going to get started in writing it. So obviously this is our grade calculator for this episode, and this is how the grades will be adjusted based on the weight. So quizzes are worth 20%, projects 30%, midterms 25%, and finals worth 25%. And since you'll be having more than one quiz, more than one project, they'll be passed as an array, so that's how the input looks like, and the final is just one input. So basically we're going to be parsing the command line arguments, so we're going to be importing a Python library called argparse, which basically enables you to parse these arguments from the command line itself. So essentially what this means is that you'll be passing in the grades when you run the command to execute the file. And so Q is for quizzes, P is for projects, and these are the tags that you will use to pass in your array of grades. And now we're going to be making the argument parser, so we're going to call it parser, and we're going to be making it using the argparse library, and then we're going to be adding these arguments. So Q for the list of quiz grades, and then it's all string types, and we'll be converting it into ints later on, but they're all basically like string type variables. And then we're going to be calling parse args, which basically returns the data as an object and stores it into arguments. So now we're going to be testing it using the command line arguments. So if I type in -h, you can see the optional arguments you can add into the command line command. So as you can see, these are the command line options. So you have the -q, and then you put in your quiz grades, and then a list of project grades, and etc. So I'm going to be passing in the grades, the list of grades, by separating it by a comma. So I'm going to be splitting each of these arguments by splitting them via a comma. So I'm going to use the dot split method in order to convert this to a list and store it into the specific variables. So quizzes has the list of quiz grades, and projects has the list of project grades, and etc. So we're just splitting it using a comma character, but you can do it using a blank space character or anything else. And now we're going to be computing the grades. So the first step is to go over every single one of these lists and convert it to an int and add it to a sum variable, and then take the average. So we're going to be taking the average of every single section, and then we're going to be calculating the weights based on that. And now you're going to calculate the total grade, the total sum of it. So you're going to take the average of every single section, multiply it by its respective weight, and then for the final grade, you're just going to take the int of the argument of that final portion of it. And then you're going to print it out, and let's see, test it out. So we have our help tag, which lists all of the optional arguments, and then we have, and then I'm going to pass in some arbitrary numbers for our testing portion, and then we have our grade, so it works. So to calculate the grade without the final exam grade, I just put in a question mark, and there you have it. That's your grade without the final exam.